in this video, we are going to discuss some aspects of chemical shift. We will discuss the proximity to an electronegative atom and or a multiple bond causes a peak to be shifted downfield. We want to understand why this is so and use to predict where the peaks might be in an NMR spectrum. So let us look at an example first here. Let us say you have a molecule like this right here and we put it into an NMR, and more specifically we are going to put in an HNMR spectroscope. So we want to see the different types of hydrogen. We already saw that the number of hydrogen corresponding to the number of signals in HNMR. So we would expect to see this to be the A-type hydrogen and we would expect to see this to be the B-type hydrogen, which means so far this is what its HNMR would look like if we have energy in its x-axis. Here, we would expect to see two separate peaks, one for each hydrogen. We know from previous module that the reason why we see two peaks is because each one represents the amount of energy necessary to bring the hydrogen into resonance, and since A and B are in different electronic environments, they would have different amounts of energy, therefore separate peaks. However, it is not really that energy is on the x-axis of NMR spectra. There are many types of NMRs that operate at different frequencies. So what they have come up here is more standardized X value. Instead of energy, we are going to use what's called delta units or ppms, which stands for parts per million. We are only using this unit because many NMRs operating at different frequencies can give up the same data. That this chart runs from 0 to 10 ppm or delta units. The more farther away from 0 or close to 10, you are more de-shielded. You are also more downfield, and close to the 0, you are more shielded, or in other words, you are also in more upfield peak. There is actually a peak right here at 0, and this is due to the specific molecule called TMS. We are going to see that TMS is our reference molecule whenever we do an HNMR. To really understand HNMR, let us have a look at this TMS molecule. Like this. It simply stands for tetramethylsilane. Let us pay attention to the hydrogens in this molecule. First of all, we can notice that all of them are equivalent. So when we put it in an HNMR, you would only see one peak. However, let us look at its shielding. Let us say these electrons are surrounding the hydrogen. Do we expect the hydrogen of this TMS to be shielded or de-shielded? Remember, this carbon is not much different from hydrogen in terms of electronegativity. Neither silane. All the atoms in this molecule have roughly the same electronegativities, which means the red electrons in the hydrogen are going to stay right there, which means the hydrogens are going to be very shielded. In fact, in organic chemistry, these are going to be the most shielded hydrogens. So think about that. If TMS has most shielded hydrogens, then let us go back to our chart. Any peak which is close to the TMS than others should have a similar environment, that is, they should be more shielded. A peak on the NMR gives us an idea of the energy necessary to bring the hydrogen into resonance. If a peak near to TMS, the amount of energy needed to bring our proton into resonance is pretty close to the energy of hydrogens in TMS. Remember, if the energies are similar, it also means that the electronic environment is also similar. So that's why the hydrogens in TMS act as a reference of the most shielded. And using the same logic, if the peaks further away from TMS, the more the protons are not like the hydrogens in TMS, and the more de-shielded the hydrogens in our sample are. Remember, we do not count the TMS peak in the number of peaks for the sample. So now onwards, we are going to see a TMS peak in all our spectra. Let us look at another example here. There is a very electronegative NO2 group here, which means this would be an A-type hydrogen that is close to the NO2 group, and this would be the B-type hydrogen, and this would be the C-type hydrogens. So far in our rough sketch of the NMR spectrum, we will see three peaks. Now, let us assign each peak to the specific hydrogens. Remember, the closer you are to an electronegative atom and or a double bond, the more shifted you are going to be, or you are less likely to be like TMS. So the most shifted peak should be due to the A hydrogen. The second shifted peak should be B-type hydrogen, and the least shifted peak should be due to the C-type hydrogen. So this is what we are learning, how to determine the relative shifts for hydrogen in any given molecule. Let us look at another example. Let us provide a rough sketch of HNMR spectra. We have oxygen here. Let us label this hydrogen as A. This should be A, and this should be the A-type hydrogen, and this should be A-type hydrogen. Remember, due to the signal averaging which leaves only this hydrogen here, they must be the B-type hydrogen. All the three other hydrogens are A-type hydrogens. In the rough sketch here, we would expect to see two signals in the HNMR, which one of the hydrogens would be more shifted. Notice the B hydrogen right here, that should be closer to the oxygen. They are the 2 units away, whereas all the A hydrogens are 1, 2, 3 units away. So the more shifted hydrogen would be B, and this should be the signal due to A, and this should be the signal due to B hydrogen. Let us look another example. Provide a rough sketch for this molecule. Let us start right here. We call A type hydrogens, we see symmetry. So this should be also A type hydrogen, and this should be B type hydrogen, and CH2 would give rise to the C type hydrogens, and methyl hydrogen would be D type hydrogen. So in our rough sketch of NMR, we would expect to see 4 peaks in HNMR of this molecule. Notice there are no electronegative atom or multiple bond in our molecule. However, there is an important principle you should know here. When you come to the shifting, you should always stick to this rule that tertiary hydrogens are more shifted than secondary hydrogen, which is more shifted than primary hydrogen. We should know this at our fingertips. We should also know why it is so. We will talk about this in few seconds. Now listen, if we look at our molecule, B-type hydrogen is happen to be tertiary hydrogen, so that if you look at our molecule, the B-type hydrogen is happen to be the tertiary hydrogen, so that would be more shifted peak. Then notice the C hydrogens are secondary hydrogens, so there should be the second most shifted peak, and A-type hydrogens are primary hydrogens, so the last peak should be A and D. They are roughly near each other, and doesn't matter if you don't know which one would be more shifted than the other. It is good enough for now that they would be peaking near each other on the spectrum. Now, why do we observe the shifting trend? Let me show you an example here. Let us say we have two hydrogens here. Notice the left hydrogen is happen to be tertiary hydrogen, and the right one is happen to be a primary hydrogen. Remember, carbon and hydrogen are roughly have the same electronegativity. but carbon is slightly more electronegative than hydrogen, which means that tertiary hydrogen will technically be in the proximity of 4 carbons, whereas the primary hydrogen is in the proximity of 2 hydrogens and 2 carbons here. Since the tertiary hydrogen is surrounded by more number of carbons, and remember carbon being more slightly electronegative than hydrogen, and that is why tertiary hydrogen will be more de-shielded than the primary hydrogen, and therefore the peak will be more downfield. So this is why we observe this particular trend here. In fact, let me show you the actual ppms here. Let A and D hydrogen would peak probably around 0.85 ppm, and the C hydrogen would peak at 1.2 ppm, and the B hydrogen would peak at 1.5 ppm. Notice these shiftings are not drastically different. Remember, the chart goes from 0 to 10. If we looked at the zoomed view, four of these peaks would be bunched together nearly less than 1 ppm. However, remember our NMR is a very sensitive machine, and it is sensitive enough to resolve these peaks. Let us look at another example here. Let us call this as A-type hydrogen, and this one as B hydrogen, and this one as C-type hydrogen. Remember, the double bonds do not rotate, that is why all these hydrogens are different. And lastly, we have the D-type hydrogen here, which means a rough sketch of this molecule would have 4 signals in its HNMR. Now remember, not only the electronegative atom cause your peaks to be shifted, but also multiple bonds. In this example, we have a carbon-carbon double bond, and any hydrogen closer to the double bond will have more shifting. Let us assign the hydrogens in the given signals. At a first glance, you might think that the hydrogens A, B, and C are at equal distance to the double bond, and in fact they are. In this molecule, the C hydrogens is most shifted. Why is that? C hydrogen is a secondary hydrogen, and both A and B hydrogens are just primary hydrogens. So even now the hydrogens A, B, and C are at the same distance from the double bond. Since C is a secondary hydrogen, it should be the most shifted. That leaves the next 2 peaks here due to A and B hydrogens. In this example, we would expect to see that hydrogens are little bit more shifted than the B, because A hydrogens are close to the methyl across the double bond. Again, remember, carbon is slightly more electronegative than hydrogen, and obviously the last peak must be due to the D hydrogens. To give you a rough idea of the values here, the C hydrogens would peak at around 5.5 ppm. This is just to give you an idea how powerful the shifting effect is due to the double bond. Notice the C hydrogens would be almost halfway at the chart, because the chart runs from 0 to 10. The A and B hydrogens peak at around 4.5 ppm, and D hydrogens would peak at around 1.7 ppm. Now let us see this example. We have a toluene molecule here. This molecule is having a plane of symmetry. So this hydrogen will label as A-type hydrogen. That makes these 2 hydrogens are B-type hydrogen, and these 2 hydrogens are C-type hydrogens because they are different. And this hydrogen is the only one which is lying on the plane of the symmetry, and that is to be the D-type hydrogen. And if we see a rough sketch of this molecule, we will get 4 peaks. This is the least shielded one, that is A-type hydrogen, that is very close to the carbon atom. That is in the methyl carbon A-type hydrogen, and these peaks are D, C, and B type hydrogen. These peaks are correspond to D, C, and B type hydrogens, and this peak would appear at 8 to 6.5 ppm. Okay, now we will see the equation for the delta, that is delta ppm is equal to the distance downfield from TMS in hertz divided by the operating frequency of NMR. This is to normalize the NMR values because different NMR machines work at different frequencies. To make it normalize, we divide the operating frequency of the NMR in megahertz, the value of the chemical shift value of that particular sample, and finally we get a normalized value, that is delta ppm. Thank you.